So far throughout my journey, I have learned one of two things from a certain game that recently came out on Roblox. One, there is such a thing as disgusting hatred, and two, there's always a bias when it comes to any type of game. Now, you may be wondering, what type of game am I talking about? This game is particularly a Bleach-based game. It is called VV Ultimatum. Now, VV Ultimatum does in fact seem to have a bias towards the Hollow and Shinigami when it comes to Quincy, because the Quincy are all powerful in this game and literally hold every ounce of possible broken activity that you could have. For example, their weapons can infinitely stun lock you if you play it right. Two, they literally have buffs coming their way. They really should not be getting buffed this early into this game's release. Now, secondly, let's talk about the Hollow and Shinigami. So, starting out, we're going to talk about the Hollow. The Hollows are horrible creatures, right? But as a Hollow in this game, you need to eat your own kind, aka lizards, centipedes, scorpions, bats, etc. Those types of Hollows usually give you body parts you're supposed to consume so you can become stronger and go about your path to become a Minos Grande so that you could then stomp out 60 whole trees and possible breaking pieces around the map. Like trees, there's those arches, etc. After you become a Ajucha, you can choose one of two things. You can rip off your mask, or you can become a Vastalore. But I do suggest waiting until you are Vastalore. However, this game is not really worth your time to be playing because of the harsh progression you have to do after Vastalore. After Vastalore, you have to then rip off your mask, unless you want to progress to level 40, which you then have the complete option to do, but you would then have to face your res bosses or resurrection bosses as a Vastalore. Now, the downside about this is there is no real downside, but you in the end will still be the victim of harsh treatment when you are a Hollow or Shinigami. As a Hollow main, I have realized that the bosses are unfairly damage causing. Now, let me explain that term. I don't know the correct term to put it, so I'll just explain what I said. Simply put, the bosses attack and do more damage than they should, making the progression part for the Arankars to get their resurrection, which is a form they get to obtain stronger or their ultimate power, so to speak. And those who have done it literally hate how bad it was just to face off against these bosses. Now, moving on to the Shinigami. Shinigami have to beat their Shikai, but you have to start meditating after level 15. Moving on, it's just an awful cycle. So, I have noticed 5 things within this community. 1, the members of it aren't really listened to. The suggested fixes aren't really being put forward at all. They're just being placed to the side and thrown into the garbage eventually. 2, the Hollow progression and Shinigami progression are both unfair and should have easier terms to that progression so they don't have to suffer, because the Quincy race doesn't have to suffer at all. Their boss is actually quite easy because they have infinite stun lock weapons. 3, the balancing is disgusting. There is no balancing at all. The Quincy is the top race, and they're currently going to be receiving a buff sometime soon. Number 4, there is a horrible amount of inaccurate hitboxes. And number 5, this game has shown no sign of changing. So, moving forward, I do suggest that we do not play this game, and I do suggest that we just avoid this game altogether so they eventually make themselves change. And what I mean by this is I wish that everyone here who watches this video notices the terrible tragedy that this game has put a few people through. And what I mean a few, I mean a lot of people. Now, I have a whole friend group that plays this game. In our particular experience, we have experienced that, hey, the resurrection bosses are too hard. Let's move on to the Shinigami. The Shinigami boss, twice as hard. So, this game is unfair and is blatantly one-sided out of the 3 races towards the Quincy. So, until balancing happens to this very game, I will be suggesting that everyone leave it just so they can fix their issues. Now, I do wish everyone have a great day, and this is a message to you, VV Ultimatum. Fix your game. If you do not, it will turn into an actual shit show, and we will be forced to deal with it. It is not a skill-based game. Your game just has a lot of bugs, and those bugs have been reported to you, but you in fact choose to ignore them. Heck, there's this game called Saber Unbound. They literally choose to have a ticket channel set up so they could give you tickets, so you do not particularly have to do anything besides fix said bug. Now, I understand coding is hard, but you should know what to put in if you are the developer, coder, even the testers. I believe they've warned you about the issues, and if they haven't, then they have failed as testers, and you should put your game back into beta to be retested by people who actually care and love the game. Now, this has been fun. Have a great day. Bye.